So The Ancient Magus's Bride, episode 11, has arrived here. I know I'm a day late, but we need to talk about this wonderful episode. And I've mentioned this in the past, but the thing that I enjoy the most about this series isn't its, say, characters or its character designs, its art, its animation, nothing like that. The thing that I absolutely adore the most, I love everything about the series for the most part, but the thing that constantly sticks out to me is the wonderful amount of detail that is put into this world that more than likely isn't going to be important past the episode it's in, and even with that said, you may not even really need that information. But it's all these little bits of information that aren't plot specific, but they get introduced in the episode to make this not feel like an anime, but rather a real world that we're just witnessing from a godlike perspective. And I'm gonna do a little comparison. There's a series called Harry Potter, I'm sure you've all heard of it, but in Harry Potter, like, a lot of the detail that makes its world pretty damn detailed. Like, it's a pretty well-detailed world, but a lot of the details I feel like in that series are very plot specific. Like in the first movie / the first book, you get introduced to the idea of wands and how each wand is like very specific and they don't share the same core, whatever the hell they said in that movie / book. And then you get introduced that the wand that chose the main character is connected to the big bad villain. And yeah, it's a nice bit of detail and you get to learn about wands and how they're made, but you can tell that it's just plot specific, so you know that this character is going to be connected to the big bad villain for the entire series. Whereas in The Ancient Magus's Bride, we get introduced to the idea that each of the wood types that they can use to carve their wands has a different connection to different maybe gods or spirits, or just how it connects to the dead and the afterlife, and just the individual types of magic that you can use. And I can almost assume that it's not going to be anything that specific. Maybe the wand type that she chose is going to play a factor down the line, but still, it's nice to learn about how wands are made without it feeling like they're just beating us over the head to tell us this is major plot information that's going to have an impact to the series as it goes on. And that's why I love this series, is it doesn't feel like we're trying to be very plot driven. There obviously is an antagonist in this show, but what makes this world feel so damn special is it never feels like we're getting all this information just so we can lead up to the next story point. No, it just feels like a real world with real characters living and breathing, and how the character interactions work with Elias and Chise. It's just so damn magical, and I love it every single week. And something I noticed in this episode, which I haven't clued into until this episode, was there was a series I watched as a kid. It's I think there's like 12 movies, if not more, but there's a movie series called The Land Before Time. It was a bunch of dinosaurs, and a lot of these dinosaurs in this episode, or in the Land of the Dragons, they remind me a lot of the characters from The Land Before Time. It was just a little thing that I noticed while watching this episode. I wanted to bring that up, but this episode was really damn good. Just seeing more of Elias's backstory, because I thought we were done with that, it was so damn awesome to see that, and just learning more about Lindell and things like that. Elias saying that he thinks he's a human. But I like just Chise's reaction to learning all this, because she's never seen Elias as a threat. She's been seeing creatures, spirits, all the bad shit that says they want to eat humans. She doesn't see that within Elias. And I love how Elias is so confused with his feelings, because he's really starting to understand human emotions without realizing it. He feels so cold with Chise gone, and now he's saying like, please come home, it feels so cold even with the fire on. Damn romantic line, but I love it. And it's so interesting to see how Chise is looking at Elias. And of course Lindell is just saying like, you gotta tell him all this, because this is literally the perfect person for Elias to really turn him into a human, even if he doesn't physically look like one, because obviously there's something human inside him, if it's the heart or if it's just some organs, but there is something human inside Elias. Lindell's master saying like, you're part fairy, but you're also part human, you're a weird crossbreed. So it's interesting to see how their relationships is working, and I think that moment at the very end of the episode with the singing, and then the talking between like the kind of like water mirror, was so romantic, so powerful and magical. It impresses me that this series can constantly find new ways to be magical and just leave your jaw on the floor, and even after you finish the episode, you gotta pick that jaw back up, because it's just like, what did I just witness? This is so magical, and this is why I love anime. It was so nice to see more kind of Land of the Dragons / backstory for Elias, and it's just interesting how I never really feel like we're going to a destination with like, we gotta get to the end game, we gotta get to the end game. Yes, we have that antagonist, but it really just feels like we're watching real characters in a real world, and whatever happens, happens, and that's what I love about this. And something that I saw in Crunchyroll's comment section, I never really clued into it, but Ruth's face when he's in his canine form looks very similar to his human form, and it's a nice little bit of detail that I never picked up on, but it's nice to see the animators and just the art staff go to that extra detail to make it feel like he's more than just a dog. It actually feels like he has a human face even in that dog form. It was a nice little detail that I never noticed until it was pointed out. But that's all I have to say on this episode. Let me know your thoughts. What did you think, and what was your favorite moment? To be honest, I think my entire favorite moment would probably be just learning about more of Elias's like darker side to his past, but Chise saying like, I've never been scared of him. I love that moment, and I can't wait to see her tell Elias the same thing, or at least I hope she will. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And before you leave, smack that like button, share your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.